Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the MTG Goldfish Podcast. This is actually episode 123 this time, so joining Richard and Seth again. You kept the spirit alive, Richard. So awesome cast to both of you last week. That was great. Again, this is your weekly podcast covering everything Magic the Gathering related, and you can find us on Google Play, iTunes, MTG Goldfish, and on YouTube. So hello to YouTube. Joining me, as always, Richard, the owner of MTG Goldfish. What's up, Richard?
Hey, guys. What's up?
How's it going, Richard? Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, our resident jank brewer and all-around content creator. What's up, Seth?
Oh, what's going on, guys? Do I have you laughing already, Chaz? We haven't even started talking.
I'm joined. I'm in a great mood. You guys have me in a great mood. This is going to be awesome. I'm happy to be back. Chaz joining you as always too. All-around content creator, focusing on the financial aspect of the game. And yeah, you already have me laughing. But yeah, let's just outline the docket for today. We have some Commander 2017 huge disclaimers. Star, huge disclaimer. They're leaked, but we're going to talk about them anyway. They may not be real, but we wanted to talk about them because they're really interesting. We have a few cards for Commander 2017. That'll bring us to a HASCON discussion, and then move us along to Modern. A lot of big GPs. A lot of interesting stuff has happened, and it's great. So we want to talk about it, and then that will move us to Fishmail. So, yeah, gentlemen, great cast last week. I'm happy to be back, feeling a lot better. So let's talk about some sweet cards. Yeah, take it away, Richard.
All right, so disclaimer, these cards were leaked last week. They were leaked on an Instagram account, and there are several pictures of reprints and new cards from Commander 2017. We don't know if they're real or not. You can take a look at the photos yourself. There'll be a link in the podcast description. But we'll start with the reprints. So Broodmate Dragon, Steel Hellkite, Haven of the Spirit Dragon, Spellbound Dragon, Tyrant's Familiar, Crucible of the Spirit Dragon, Ojutai, Soul of Winter, Silumgar the Drifting Death, Kolaghan the Storm's Fury, Dromoka the Eternal, and Atarka World Render. So Seth's favorite Dragonlands, the little Dragon Lords, and some famous dragons. So those are the reprints. And clearly this is a tribal dragon deck. The theme for this time around is tribal, so one of the decks is tribal dragons based on this. So start with one of the new cards. Kagachi Vengeful Kami. 1 white, blue, black, red, green. So five color commander. Legendary creature, Dragon Spirit, Flying Trample. When Kagachi Vengeful Kami deals combat damage to a player, if that player attacked you during his or her last turn, exile target non-land permanent that player controls. 6/6. So, Dragon Spirit, legendary creature.
So, I guess we'll take Kamigawa stuff anywhere we can get it. This is this is awesome. Yeah, so it seems like one of the sets will be 5-color dragons, or allegedly, like Richard said. I'm liking this. I think, for me, just before we talk about the specific card, this was going to be... I'm not, hugely into tribal commander stuff. I know a lot of people do enjoy it. It is fun. It's just not something I would personally play, but this has me really interested. I mean, the cards are, really interesting and awesome, and I did not expect to be, really into this stuff. So, yeah, what better way to pull us in than a 5-color dragon from Kamigawa? Color me impressed. It's pretty good for its casting cost. Has a really interesting ability. So, you always like to somewhat vindicate things. Not much else going on here, but nice, giant dragon for its casting cost and a pretty cool effect.
So, what do you think of the theory that they're all going to be 5-color decks? There's only 4 of them. That would explain why there's an odd number, maybe.
Yeah, that's actually interesting, and it came up. I would totally be for it, because that way you can kind of include different tribes in the same set, but we'll have to see. I don't know. That would be awesome, because it wouldn't just delegate any one of the commander sets to one or potentially one tribe, but that would be cool either way, even if it was one tribe.
I don't know that there's enough 5-color tribes to make that happen. It might be like 2 5-color decks and like 2 3-color decks or 2 4-color decks. But like allies, slivers, like it starts getting pretty thin after. You can't have like 5 sea goblins.
Allies.
I guess you could.
Can't wait.
There's some old sets where they have weird color pie things.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, do like 5-color beasts. There's like beasts of like all colors.
Humans,
yeah.
Oh, that's so boring. If they do humans as a deck, oh my god.
I think if there's an allies commander product, we will definitely hear it from Seth.
Yeah.
His discontent. Major discontent.
I mean, the card itself is pretty sweet. They do a good job adding multiplayer stuff to the cards, and this has a cool multiplayer effect where it can kind of work like a ghostly prison type effect. At least it's going to make your opponent think twice about attacking you if you have this out, because good chance you can get in damage thanks to trampling. It's not like they can just chump it with a lingering souls token or some random flyer very easily. So I think it might kind of work to deter your opponents from attacking you. So I like the card. I think it's pretty cool. And I love the name. Okagachi Vengeful Kami just has like a, I don't know, poetic syllables to it or something where it sounds cool to me.
This card sucks. It has nothing to do with dragons or spirits. It's like a pseudo... It's not even a fog, right? Like, it stops people from attacking you, but what that means is they'll just all attack you at once and kill you in one shot. Or if you somehow manage to get everyone to attack you, and you pillow fort them, all you get for this is a Vindicate out of a 6-mana, vanilla creature. So I actually don't like it, and it's not very dragon-y to me. Like, what about this card screams dragon spirit? You could have called this, like, anything else. Like
that's the inclination that it's real, Richard.
Like I just play like Sliver Queen or something in my 5-color dragon deck, right? Like it actually has a better ability. So I don't know. This is just like a big beater. Like I don't know what you can do with this ability.
Sometimes that's all the dragon needs to be, right?
Like if it wasn't legendary, you could put these. What's the sword that gives Myriad?
This Blade of Selves?
Yeah, like if you could somehow like make a Pillow Fort deck, force everyone to attack you, and then Blade of Selves this thing, then we're talking. But as is, it's like a lot of work for a Vindicate.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. I don't think it's that bad though, but I guess it's arguably one of the least exciting out of the leaked cards.
All right, next card, Ramos Dragon Engine. So 6 generic mana, legendary artifact creature dragon, flying. When you cast a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Ramos Dragon Engine for each of that spell's colors. Remove 5 +1/+1 counters from Ramos. Add 2 color of each mana. So that's like white, blue, black, red, green, but 2 of each to your mana pool. Activate this ability only once each turn. 4/4.
This card seems busted, right?
I mean, if you can
oh
go
yeah,
off
it's
with
really
it,
strong.
It's like a ton of mana of any color, right?
You can activate Door to Nothingness. That's the combo. It's exactly what you need to Door to Nothingness someone.
I mean, you don't even have to use the mana. You can just cast spells and make this thing gigantic. If you cast a 5-color spell, it becomes a 9/9.
And that triggers every spell, right? The once per turn is only for making the mana. So if you can just like cast a bunch of spells, and it's a 5-color colorless commander essentially. Like it does work as a 5-color commander, so it seems like it would be pretty easy to one-shot people with commander damage with that thing.
Yeah, like doubling season or something, plus like 2 charms and like someone's dead,
crazy.
Right? It gets out of control pretty quickly. And now, you can abuse
again,
the mana
this is why
too.
I'm excited. Like you have like throwbacks to Kamigawa already locked in. Now you have like this is just bringing me back to like all the sets I was playing when I was little, or when I was first playing the game. and this is like a flavor masterpiece, isn't it? Like you have a 5-color colorless commander, you have Ramos, and all. I don't know if anyone noticed, but I saw a few people notice this, that all of the artifacts from that block, those are all the colors that you can get from all the like the tooth and the skull, and it's the double color because you can tap it and then sacrifice it.
That cycle was so bad. I forgot that
It
those
was,
were a
but
thing.
I'm glad that they like included that, because it was pretty.
So those
you got
were
this
literally
like weird.
That's Ramos Dragon's engine. It's Ramos's teeth is what those were.
Yeah, like all of those pieces now make the dragon engine. Yeah, they were all artifacts, so it's like clearly an
Interesting.
awesome flavor win too.
I do like that they do that. That's one of the coolest things is Wizards isn't bound by the set they're on, the plane they're on with these commander sets, so you do get to see a lot of cool callbacks. We got to see Planeswalkers a couple years ago from characters from the very distant past that Wizards could never make work in a standard set. So I think that's one of the most exciting things about the commander releases is those flavor wins, and they seem to be doing a really good job with it these days.
Good old Ricadian Masks. That was a cool set.
No,
it was
no,
just
it
really
wasn't.
interesting
No.
to see that, because I saw this card and I'm like, wow, that's really cool.
All right.
Sorry, go
next
ahead,
card.
Nothing.
Next card
I was
from the guy that brought you Tigum Scheming. we didn't see him in the original set, but here he is, Tigum Ojutai Master. 2 white and a blue legendary creature human monk. Instant sorcery and dragon spells you control can't be countered by spells or abilities. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand, if Tigum Ojutai Master attacked this turn, that spell gains rebound. 3/4.
Yeah, this is crazy. I don't even like. I was discussing this card. I don't even think you could play this on its own without any dragons, and it's still a good card.
I think the card's super good. I really dislike the dragon thing, though. It feels so forced to me. It feels like it was supposed to be instants and sorceries, can't be countered. They have rebound if it attacked. That makes sense. The dragon part feels like it was kind of forced to me and tacked on just to make it work in this deck. I don't know. That was my impression of it, but I think it's really powerful.
No, I
Yeah,
like the dragon
felt that
aspect.
too.
Remember, what was it? Fate Reforged? When did all these dragon cards come out? But they had all of the cards that relied on having a dragon. Like Foul
Yeah,
Tongue,
like,
Invocation, and whatnot.
this-
So this is just a
Something
throwback.
prerogative.
Yeah, this is just a throwback to that. It should be.
It is.
You should be able to reveal a dragon or something as well to make something happen. But I don't
I'll
mind
tell
the
you
dragon
what.
spells.
If this is not in a 5-color deck, though, like if this was your commander, the pool of really good dragon cards in blue and white drastically diminishes. Like-
Ojutai, you get one dragon.
And that's like pretty much it. You get like maybe Icefall Regent.
I'm
And-
sure. Oh wait, what's the cycle from Mirage? I know there's Pearl Dragon, and what's the blue
Yeah,
one? Mist
Mist?
Dragon.
Tika? Is there?
I think-
Wait, no, that's
I think
an
it
artifact, right?
Phases out or something horrible.
All right, I'm gonna have to ask the question: is this legacy playable?
No. Do you think?
Okay.
Do you think so?
No, but I'm just
I'm gonna
asking.
say I'm gonna
Because,
say yes
that's the
because
only format you
this
can
has
play
happened
these cards
before.
in.
I'm not falling into this trap.
But how annoying is it if you play a Cavern of Souls and then play this thing? All of your spells are uncounterable. The downside is then he just eats the swords to plowshares.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can only play these in Commander and then Legacy and Vintage. So we're gonna throw it out there. We don't think it's Legacy playable.
I mean, can't you? For one more mana, you can play Teferi, which is kinda the same. I don't know. Maybe it could be a sideboard card. I guess. If you
I mean,
really
you can
need
play
to force through.
Jace. You could, God forbid, play Narset if you want the rebound ability. You could play Boseiju if you wanted the uncounter ability. So there's the other things. I don't think it's playable, but you never know.
I love me some Boseiju. Wait, how is... Okay, let me just ask. Marin, was that any kind of fringe? I know like some Nick Fit decks started using Marins to some effect, right?
Never heard of
Everything's playable in Nick Fit.
this. Everything is any standard staple is playable in Nick Fit, so maybe.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
But these are not Nick Fit colors, so you'd have to
Yeah.
slot this into Miracles or something, but I don't think you would.
Card is super powerful. I do think it just works without dragons. I do kind of agree with Seth that the dragon thing kind of seemed like tacked on at the last second, but it doesn't really actually makes any kind of sense with Ojutai. But yeah,
I look forward to this card in 1v1 Commander.
I do too.
Yeah, like nice brawl deck you got there. I'm just gonna play Tygum.
Oh yeah.
It's like covered into Tygum. It's like, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, next card, the Ur Dragon. Finally got the Ur Dragon. 4 white, blue, black, red, green. So 5 color commander with a hefty 9 converted mana cost. Legendary creature, dragon avatar. New keyword, eminence. As long as the Ur Dragon is in the command zone or on the battlefield, other dragon spells you cast cost 1 less. Flying, whenever one or more dragons you control attacks, draw that many cards, then you may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield, 10/10.
There's a lot of things going on here. It's kind of weird that the Eminence is only 1 less to cast. I kind of feel like that should have been ramped up a little bit, or like has as many times as it goes back to your command zone. It like adds 1 to the Eminence. I don't know, but the second ability is insane.
Yeah, I mean, you're only using Eminence. How are you going to cast the Sewer Dragon? You're only going to be using its Eminence, right?
Yeah.
It's like a permanent rampant growth you have in effect here. Or permanent, what are those medallions? Yeah.
It doesn't count for itself, which kind of...
I mean, it's clearly really powerful, but it's also 9 mana, so it probably should be really powerful if you're going to pay 9 mana in 5 colors. I don't imagine you cast this very often, is the thing. So is 1 mana off going to make you play this as your commander over, like, Scion of the Ur-Dragon, the other commanders we've been talking about from this set? There's one of the cool things is all these creatures are legendary. So there's like a million new 5-color dragon commanders that we've seen so far. So you have a ton of options. I think it's sweet. And we've seen abilities that just sit in the command zone and do stuff be really powerful before. So I'm a little scared of it just because of that. We've seen that happen when they've used this type of mechanic in the past, that just having that static effect for free all game long and your opponent can't interact with it can be pretty powerful.
Yeah, I'm going to say this is a terrible commander. I don't think you want this as your commander, but I think you're going to slam it in as your 99 and just reanimate it and go to town. We've seen so many games where there's just like nothing on the dragon player's side, and then all of a sudden, like a billion dragons come down, there's like 10 extra turns, and just like random crap is going off, and the Ur Dragon perfectly fits into this. Like, you just slam down some dragons, reanimate this thing, attack, drop in more dragons, take an extra combat step, go crazy, put in more dragons, and just like dragon storm off. So I think this fits right in there. I don't know how often you're gonna get to 9 mana to actually hard cast an Ur Dragon. That one's gonna be tough.
Yeah, luckily in EDH, you have access to every color, so there could be some, infinite mana combos to get this thing out for whatever reason. I don't know then why you wouldn't win the game, but I do think the 1 less, like, I felt like there's more to be desired there, but that's pretty strong over the course of the game. I mean, just thinking about, what is it, 3 mana Broodmate Dragon? No, 4 mana.
4 mana.
Broodmate's 5? 4.
I think it's
4 mana
6,
Broodmate.
actually.
Is it? It's 3 and Jund?
Yeah.
Okay, you can get Stormbreath Dragon. You can get...
one mana Dragon Whelp.
Oh, what's the one that kills all the Lingering Souls tokens? Thundermaw Hellkite.
Thundermaw for 4. Yeah, so, I mean, that's pretty cool.
I mean, that's pretty good because you have ramp as well, right? Or, you just turn 1 Sol Ring, turn 2 land, and then play your scary dragons.
Speaking of scary dragons, we got one more.
All right.
This one's awesome.
Wasitora Nekoru Queen, 2 black, red, and a green, legendary creature, cat dragon. Yes, it's a cat dragon. Flying trample. When Wasatora Nekoru Queen deals combat damage to a player, that player sacrifices a creature. If that player can't, you create a 3/3 black, red, and green cat dragon creature token with flying. 5/4.
So I did the reverse Richard here. I saw this one first, and I'm like, no, there's no way this cat dragon, like, this is fake. And then I saw the other cards, and I'm like, nah, it's real.
I thought this was the dumbest thing ever, and I thought it was fake until apparently cat dragons have been referenced in Magic for quite a while.
Yes.
This is not something they just randomly made up, but it's actually been in the lore. I thought this was like almond cat. Almond cat. They've gone crazy with the cats, but no, this
Almond cat.
This
Yes.
I don't know what's going on. Why are there cat dragons? And when I think Jund, I think of flying cat dragons, right? Like, what is going on?
I'm good with it. I actually think this is the best card of the dragons that we've seen. I mean, this is not just because it's 5 mana, obviously, for EDH purposes. Like, Ramos can go off, and it's like kind of scary and crazy, but this is just awesome value. I mean, for 5, you have, like, it reminds me of Broodmate Dragon-esque type things going on here. It's easy to connect with Trample, and not only just getting the 3/3 is great, but they also sacrifice a creature. So either way, you're getting value here.
I really dislike that cats are normally white, so you can't really use this as a commander of your cat deck. I wish it was like Naya colored or something, so you could have a tricolor cat commander.
Johnny does not approve.
But I mean, it's fine. You get in, you make your opponent sacrifice something. It seems like a reasonable card. I don't know. I still think Ramos that's the card that I'm most impressed with out of the bunch, I think.
I don't know. It's a cat dragon. It feels gimmicky, but it's been there, so I guess it's okay. It's okay. I mean, it's a 3. It makes 3/3 tokens, or they sacrifice a creature, which isn't bad. 5/4. I guess it's fine. It tramples, but I would have liked white, like Seth said. To me, the most exciting card is probably the Ur Dragon. Oh no, Tigum. Tigum is pretty good too. I dislike the Ur Dragon as a commander. I like it as a scary dragon in the 99.
Now, see, this is, like, again, I'm excited. These are cool, really cool cards, but this is kind of like what I feared would happen, again, coming from my perspective when looking at these commander products, is, like, it's cool, but I'm just going to gravitate to the card like Tigam, and that's, like, pretty much it.
It's because you don't like dragons or tribal.
Well, no, I mean, it has nothing to do with but this card doesn't even have anything to do with dragons. It's just like an overall good card. Like, I like the Nekoru Queen. I would probably play that if I was, playing multiplayer, just to throw it in there. It doesn't necessarily even have to be a dragon.
Yeah, it's the novelty of the cat dragon that I think will draw a lot of people to play this, because you just whip it out, and the other player's like, is that a cat dragon? Like, what? Is this a real card, Judge? Right? Like,
yeah. So, and I'm with Seth. Like, Ramos can do, like, interesting stuff. Ramos
is probably the most, like, broken one, in which you can build a deck around it and just go crazy, I think.
Yeah, it seems like you can do some pretty insane stuff with it. Is there a spell or enchantment or something that makes all spells all colors? That would be absurd. And then you could just, like, Gitaxian Probe and stuff. I'm gonna have to do a Gatherer search, because that would be pretty sweet. From a meta perspective, we know that dragons is, like, the single most popular tribe in Magic, I think. If it's not, it's like top 2 or top 3. Do you fear at all that with this being leaked early, that there's gonna be much less hype for the rest of the decks when we get to real spoiler season in a month and a half or whatever, because we already not only got cards early, but most likely the most popular tribe out of all the decks? Like, is that a concern at all for either of you?
No, I don't even think dragons is the most popular.
Really?
I think slivers,
it's popular, just
angels, even like zombies, goblins.
No, dragons is definitely up there.
I mean,
just not with us.
I mean, it's up there, but I don't think it's, like, far and away the most popular. I think all these other tribes are comparable, so I don't think it's...
Like, I wouldn't even want to see slivers anymore.
But it's the perfect 5C deck. If you want a 5C deck.
I know, yeah, I get that, but I mean, it just feels like we've had a lot of slivers over the years.
Does this change your predictions for the rest of the decks? Does this give you any sense of where you think we're heading with the other 3 decks?
This definitely changed my perspective. Now, like, at first, I thought that these would be maybe a couple colors, maybe like monocolor. It really could have gone any different direction. But this gives me a definite sense of where we could end up. And I personally hope that they're all 5 color, or at least 3+ colors, that you can add a bunch of different things for these tribes. And if dragons is indicative of anything, it's gonna. I was hoping that we would see some offbeat tribal stuff, but it just kind of feels like we're gonna get like elves and like goblins and stuff.
Like, what offbeat tribes do you want to see? Like, tree folk? Like,
give me the tree folk. Give me homirids.
how
give
do
me
you not sell
like,
commander products? Tree folk tribal.
Yeah, I would. Listen, it's been a long time since tree folk. Like, what, Morningtide? That's a long time
I agree
already.
with you, but I think we should just slot, 1 to 2 tree folk in a standard set as opposed to make a whole commander product around.
I mean, but how many times can we see like goblins and elves and like merfolk and like slivers?
That's the
We
bread and
need
butter of
something.
Magic the Gathering.
I know, but it's like,
I would think more people like goblins than say Jace. But
give me minotaurs. Like, give me anything that's like
Minotaurs would
not
be cool.
like the normal, you know?
I mean, you got to think though, these are for the casual crowd. Like that's the primary audience for these products, and I don't think those people care as much. I think they'd rather have the dragons and that. Those are what casual decks are: dragons and elves and angels, and I don't know. I think that they're like catering to the audience for these products by using really popular casual tribes.
I think even the casual players are over like dragons and stuff. Like, how many dragons can you make after a while?
Yeah, my biggest complaint is they stop feeling like dragons. But they have like so many abilities now that they don't feel like dragons anymore. Whereas dragons are usually like hasty. Usually they deal some kind of direct damage when they attack, and they're red. Now we just like we've branched into like everything, and now it's just like a normal creature, kind of like allies, right? Like there's no identity to allies. They're just everywhere. They do everything. They're in every color, and you really can't tell what is an ally and what is not. And with these new dragon cards, we've kind of hit that point with dragons. They kind of just do everything now, and there's no real identity anymore. So
they should have just added fire breathing to everyone below the rest of the text. Just 1 red gets +1/+0 intended turn, and then you're good.
Just fire breathing. That's the only ability you can have, fire breathing.
I just feel like if we don't come out of this with like one of them being like an off, like just 5 color, like you have like goblins, you have the dragons, you have angels, whatever, you have demons, and then one of them just has to be another 5 color set with like everything from every kind of set that you could think of. You got like snakes, you got give me like dinosaurs, give me scarecrows, like just throw all that stuff in one of them, and that would be awesome.
Scarecrows could work.
There's no way.
Yeah,
Scarecrows
see,
is a
like,
5-color tribe.
The only
Yes,
reason people play
Seth.
those tribes is because they're underplayed, and the minute
Seth
they
knows.
become popular, no one will give a crap about scarecrows.
It is like
Golems.
hipster deck building.
Hipster deck building. All right, predictions for the other tribes. Assuming this is real and dragons is one of them, what are the other 3 tribes we're gonna see?
Slivers.
Okay. Humans.
All right, you got 2 more.
The slivers.
Oh, wait, we have dragons. There's only 3 more.
Slivers, allies. No, they're 2 slivers. Like I have no idea except for slivers.
Goblins, angels,
Okay.
and some offbeat thing that is not immediately obvious. I
Yes,
don't think they're
I
going to
hope so.
overload and
Like,
use all of the good tribes here. I think they're going to kind of spread it out. So you're not going to see like slivers, angels, goblins, dragons, but you'll see 2 or 3 popular ones. And then you'll see something that didn't immediately pop out to you. And I hope it's not allies. I hope it's not humans or something like that.
See, this is why they needed 5 again, because then they could do like 4. Like you have dragons, angels, demons, whatever. Like angels, I'm fine with. Demons, I'm fine with. I'm kind of over like elves and goblins, and this is elves even coming from a green player. But you just needed that one offbeat one with like all these different crazy tribes in there, and I think you could have made some really sweet cards.
I think it'll be
I'm
offbeat,
still pulling
like
for
wizards.
the 5-color
Wizards offbeat, not
mishmash.
tree folk offbeat.
Oh. That's going to be so disappointing.
Well, you never know. Maybe on spoiler
This was
day
your
we will
chance,
see
like-
tree folk. Return
I really hope so.
to-
This was the chance to do it.
What's the biggest tree folk set? Kamigawa?
Like,
Lorwyn.
Lorwyn?
Lorwyn, I
Morwyn,
think.
Morningtide.
Yeah.
Morwyn, Morningtide, Shadowmoor, Eventide, yeah. There's actually some good tree folk in that set, in that block, too.
Tree
Now that I
folk
think back.
I would be down with tree folk. I think that would be a sweet tribal
Right?
deck.
I'm pretty sure it'll be bad. I'm pretty sure I've tried to build one at some point.
There were some really sweet tree folk back in the day, like Namada Grove Guardian, what was the hexproof one?
Iron
I
Root
can't
Tree
remember.
Folk, 5 mana, 3
Multani was
fives.
Multani was the hexproof one, I think, or Shroud. I think it was Shroud back
Wait,
then.
is Dungrove Elder a tree folk?
Yeah.
There we go. That's
Yeah.
the best one,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
I think Doran's
Very
the
much so.
best tree
Oh,
folk.
he's
probably.
Doran's a
Doran.
tree folk? Oh, geez.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe we do got something.
Yeah. Now we're cooking. Yeah. There are some really Chameleon Colossus is a tree folk.
That's not fair.
These names.
Nice.
I like the old school names of like race/tribe plus job. Like tree folk scientist, tree folk scavenger, stuff like this.
I think you had some of that in Lorwyn, like something Banneret. Yeah, I can't remember the name now. All right, so that wraps up Commander. We're hopeful. We're staying hopeful. So some really interesting cards. Hopefully, we see some more crazy stuff once this releases. So we have actually quite some time. This was really early. This doesn't release till like August.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
was a pretty
we've got
bad
some
leak
time.
because it was actually leaked before Commander Anthology.
Yeah. Oh.
So someone,
We'll
someone's
actually
getting in trouble.
touch on that.
I don't know,
Yeah.
like someone just stole like one deck and then just ran away and
Yeah.
posted pictures on Instagram. I don't know what happened here.
Actually, really quick, like shout out to on Twitter. I think there was like some weird mix-up with the handles, and I'm sure this caused a lot of issues and headaches for Turn One Thoughtseize out there. I don't know if you, any of you follow them either, but certainly not fun. But I'm glad to know everything was cleared and okay. All right, so HASCON. Richard, run us through HASCON.
All right.
Because this is it's a pretty big
They
discussion
released
here.
the pricing for HasCon. So if you have forgotten, HasCon is the Hasbro convention, September 8th to 10th, Rhode Island Convention Center. So they released the pricing. General admission is $60 for 1 day, $165 for a 3-day pass. If you want to draft Iconic Masters, or is it sealed release? So if you want to play the Iconic Masters release event, it's $60 and includes 6 Iconic Masters packs. What that means is if you just want to play Iconic Masters, minimum is $120. There's also a Magic the Gathering super fan admission that includes general admission, 2 entries to Iconic Masters events, 3 HasCon exclusive promo cards. They've been confirmed to be silver bordered, so not tournament legal. And they're going to feature a mashup of Hasbro IP. So it's probably going to be like a Transformers card or a My Little Pony card, something like that. You get entry to the Magic the Gathering 25th anniversary party. There will be Ixalan preview cards there. And then you get a goodie bag with 6 booster packs, Ultra Pro merchandise, HasCon merchandise, stuff like that. $600 for the Superfan pack.
Wait, does the goodie bag have 6 packs of Ixalan in
Doubt
it?
it. They just say 6
That's a
booster
deal
packs.
breaker right there. $600, you don't even get this Ixalan packs?
You're going to
Drake
get
gets
Dragon's
made.
Oh. That would really, really suck.
So basically,
also have-
120 to play Iconic Masters, or you can go all out and pay 600 and get the promos. They said that stuff from the convention will be on the web shop, so I'm guessing that's similar to San Diego Comic-Con. So you might be able to get the promos online, but they haven't confirmed the promo specifically for that.
Do you get to ride around like in the Optimus Prime like truck in Rhode Island for the 600? Like,
I mean,
give me something.
you want to
You should
ride
get
in
to
a truck
design a
around
magic
Rhode
card.
Island? I think we can arrange for that for less than $600.
The Optimus Prime. I would hope so for 600. That seems like a lot. I mean, we talked about this, but I'll let you go first, Seth, because you're you need to get this out.
So when this was first announced, I was actually sort of excited for it because the pre-release of Iconic Masters sounded so unique. The ability to play without having spoilers and all that. We'll see if that actually works out and there's no leaks, but in theory it sounded really cool, but the price is absurd, I think. It is ridiculous. I know that if you get the normal passes, $165 for 3 days, that's basically the same as Gen Con or any of the like premium cons. The problem is, I don't know if this event can match up to that. The first ever HASCON, like, is it really fair to price that like your Gen Con or one of the other like super premier cons out there? And the $600 is insane. I don't see how you actually get your value out of spending $600 on that. So it really made me less excited about the possibility of doing it. So I don't know. It's just so scattered and I don't know what I do there. Like, I love Magic, but I don't care about My Little Pony. I don't even really care about Transformers. Definitely don't care about Pie in the Face or any of the other Hasbro stuff. So I just can't imagine, as someone who exclusively cares about Magic, I would get $600 of enjoyment out of a 3-day pass to HasCon.
All right, wait. Let me interrupt you in case you're not familiar with Hasbro brands. Straight from their website. Transformers, My Little Pony, Nerf, Magic the Gathering, Play-Doh, Monopoly, G.I. Joe, Baby Alive, Littlest Pet Shop, Pie Face, Beyblade, Drop Mix. We're getting pretty low here. Mr. Potato Head, Play School, Dungeons and Dragons, and they have partner brands. So Star Wars, I guess Marvel, they have Avengers, Spider-Man, Guardians, Disney Princess, Disney Frozen, Moana. So Star Wars, Marvel, and Disney are their partner brands. So that's the convention you're going to.
You're missing two. You're missing two at the bottom.
What am I missing? Descendants?
The DreamWorks, Trolls, and Sesame Street.
Sorry. Trolls, I didn't even know it still existed. And Sesame Street. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, all kidding aside, I mean, okay, the Iconic Masters thing, like, is still cool, and I get that. I don't think, like, if you were going there and you really wanted to do that, then I think the 165 is, I don't even know if it's worth it, but yeah, it's just really not up there with the other cons. So, like, I wish this didn't take away from how cool of an event that Iconic Masters can be and still could be. I just think the pricing is just, like you both said, it's just a little unorthodox when you look at the pricing of other large cons. Like, if you're paying roughly the same, these tickets, and you go to Comic-Con in New York or something like that, there's still a lot of stuff to do. You can still, like, kind of spectate and look at a lot of different things. There's just so much stuff to do. You look at those brands, and yeah, like, there's Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that, but I mean, me personally being a GoBots fan, no, I'm kidding. Bad Clerks reference there, but I mean, you're right. I think you said it best, Seth, and you, Richard. Like, you're scraping the bottom pretty fast after Magic if you're, like, not into My Little Pony and G.I. Joe and stuff like that. And I just think, the pricing needed to be pretty low for the first go around for this, and as you kind of add more things as you go along, year in and year out, then you can kind of, when you have better stuff and more stuff to kind of go through outside of when obviously they have partner brands, so maybe something comes up there, then you can go and reevaluate the pricing. But it just really is unfortunate because I love the fact that you can go and it's going to be like kind of a secret event and like the old pre-releases that you used to go to, and you're literally opening up the packs and seeing the cards for the first time. There really wasn't a lot of things going on the internet a while back. So I like that aspect, but it's just way too much. It's just way too much. And I don't even think like the VIP, because that's why I was asking. I mean, like half-heartedly, bad jokes aside, I mean, what are you really getting for 600? I mean, a party, like, yeah, that's cool, but
Yeah, I think this is going to be a failed convention. I think if it succeeds, it'll be bolstered by Magic the Gathering player wallets, because you need to, if you look at the brands represented here, they're basically for little kids. So you need to remember that to take your little kid to this, you got to bring mom, you got to bring dad, you got to bring like 3 kids or something. And now you're not talking like $160, you're talking like $400 or $500 for the family. And you need a hotel room, you need food. Would you rather go to HASCON or would you go to Disney World? If you're going to spend this much money, like what are you doing here, right? To me, this should be like we have $20, let's go check out some My Little Pony stuff, right? So I imagine this will be full of Magic the Gathering players and people doing business, right? Like I can't imagine. I have a family of 6. Yeah, let's go to HasCon. Let's spend like $1,000 to $2,000, right? It's just I don't know what the angle is here, right? Like, are you really gonna take your kids to see Monopoly? Like I have no idea.
I think it could be a good, and like you said, it's more geared to, it's like a family event. They obviously are, kind of pushing it as that. But I do think you're right. It's going to be bolstered by a lot of diehard, fanatical Magic the Gathering fans, to a lesser extent D&D fans. But other than that, like, yeah, they'll probably have some booths and stuff like that. It'll be interesting, but it's just not going to appeal to a lot of players and people.
Let's say you're a Magic the Gathering fan. Would a better experience be a Grand Prix or HasCon?
Well, that's the problem, right? Is when you go to a con, like you go to Comic-Con because you like comics and everything's about comics. If you go to HasCon because you like Magic, yeah, you get some Magic stuff, but everything else is, or most things at least, are probably not really of interest to you. They're for families and kids and just a completely different crowd. So I think you'd be better off going to GP Vegas, like a major GP like that. I think would be much more of a Magic convention than HasCon will be.
Like, obviously, yeah, you don't get the premiere, like the kind of exclusive stuff, which I guess a lot of it will be on the website anyway, so what's really the point? But really, I don't think paying this amount for essentially a pre-release and a couple silver bordered that really aren't Magic the Gathering specific in general. Like, yeah, they look like Magic the Gathering cards, but they're not really Magic the Gathering cards, so I just don't know if it's justified just from someone that was willing to spend and go there. I mean, it just kind of feels like you're going to a con for one thing, and it's like a very small, like it likely is the only thing that really should have been there one of the few things that should have been there in the first place. It's like going to Comic-Con for like video games. Like, yeah, they have more video games these days, and I apologize if other folks have gone there and it's, video games are kind of up there at cons these days. I haven't gone in quite some time, but you go there for comics, and there's a lot of different things going on there for that, and just it branches out to all these different avenues. For this, it's like you go there for D&D, or Magic, maybe D&D, and then like that's pretty much it. It's just a lot of different brands for you're right, Richard, children.
So what do you guys think of the silver bordered promos? And that's basically what you're for the $600, right? So
yeah,
general admission is $165 plus two drafts is $120.
Yep. So that's like $300, let's say.
Yeah, so the rest of that is basically this promo. So that's how much you're paying for
and
these
the party,
silver
right?
border promos.
Oh, that was in there.
Well, I don't know how much the party is worth, but $50 or whatever. You know, you get some booster packs, some
And
merch and whatever. Call it $100.
It's not open bar.
You're paying like $200 ish for this promo. Silver bordered promos. What's your take on that?
Not even interested. Like, they aren't. If they were the caliber of a Comic-Con, that's what I was hoping they would be. That would actually make it sort of worthwhile. But if I'm going to get a silver bordered Magic the Gathering-esque type card and it's like Optimus Prime, like, what am I supposed to do with that? I'm not even trying to be like a downer here, but really, like, where, like, you can't even use that in like a commander deck, like just a cool swag for a commander deck. Nothing. Like, that's like, what am I doing with a silver border Optimus Prime like Magic card? No, I'm serious.
Do you think
it's
they're
like
gonna?
it sucks?
Yeah.
Like,
Do you think they're going to be expensive though? That's my question. Like, is it a value thing? Or are they just going to be super rare?
To who
and,
though?
Like the holiday promos. Like those
MSRP
are
will be
some of those are
expensive.
pretty expensive.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I think it will be a throwaway for a lot of people that, you know, are willing to spend the $250 or whatever they are for the Comic-Con type promos because they can actually use them, and I get that. But I mean, this is literally just going to be sitting. I mean, for those of you that like collections, I'm not trying to discount that, but I mean, that's basically what they are.
So I like
think-
silver bordered promos, but I dislike the value they're placing on them. Right? The holiday promos are given out for free. Right? If you're a friend or family of Wizards or, you know, a content creator that they like or whatever, you get it for free. You don't have to pay $100. You get it for free. And the secondary market dictates, you know, the price. With the San Diego Comic-Con promos, they put a price on it. Right? And that price is being bolstered by the fact that these are legitimate Magic cards. You know, Jace Vryn's Prodigy, Liliana the Last Hope. You know, these cards are real cards that actually have value because you can play with them. So now they're giving you Optimus Prime for $50, $100. Is that worth it? I don't think so. I think they should have given them away as like $2 promos. You know, you show up at the convention, here's your goodie bag, have these like worthless promos. They're nice and cool. Kind of like back in the day when, you know, Inquest and Scry were still a thing. They would include like random promo cards in there, right? And not legal to play. And they were just free give-me's or, you know, marginally like $2-3. So those I like. I don't like, here's $100 silver bordered card which you can play, you know, in your custom cube and that's it. That I think is harsh. And if you are a Transformers fan, are you really going to buy this card if you don't know Magic the Gathering? Like, it seems weird that they would charge so high for this, right? This should be free or close to nothing. And, you know, if they're super expensive, then let the secondary market dictate that. I don't agree with the $600 price which essentially kind of just puts a price on these promos, right?
The whole thing is just it feels like a ripoff. I'm disappointed in the pricing aspects of the whole thing. I think it would be a lot cooler if they were like the San Diego Comic-Con promos. Like, I think it would be sweet if you had I don't know, Optimus Prime, the Card Liberated or something that had different art. I think something like that would be cool.
Yeah, there are a lot of good puns in the Reddit thread, like Optimus Prime Speaker Zagana. Like, you can do all kinds of awesome stuff, which players would love, but now, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just feels like they're making all the money off Magic players, you know, like we're kind of bolstering up the convention here. And I don't know. I think they just feel like Magic players will just throw money left and right, but I don't know. I think a Grand Prix, which we are already complaining is too expensive, is better value than, say, HASCON.
And we didn't even mention it, but you mentioned precast, Richard, that it's not easy to get there if you're not on the East Coast. Like, you couldn't even fly directly into Rhode Island,
Yeah,
right?
it's $400 and a one connection flight to Rhode Island from the West Coast. Which, I don't know, it's okay. Not that many people live in the West Coast, but, like, again, if this is your premier event, this is your launch event, like I don't know. And maybe people have the same problem with PAX. Right, the PAX Prime is probably hard to get to from the East Coast, but then they made PAX East, so they kind of solved that. But this is probably too small. But
and this was nice too because it was going to be right in our backyard, Seth. This was something that we could have easily gone to, and I mean, good on the folks that really die hard and do this, and obviously are going to provide a lot of hype and opening packs and stuff, and will generate all kinds of, it'll be great. I still think the pre-release aspect of it's going to be awesome. I can't justify it by everything else that's there. I'm sorry.
The last problem is the reason I would go would be to get the unique pre-release experience, and what I'm like 95% sure would happen is I pay $600 to get the ticket, and then a month before the event, all the cards leak, and it ruins the entire experience anyway. I just can't imagine if they can't keep a commander deck under wraps 2 months before the set release. Is there really any way we're not going to get iconic Masters
Not even
leaks?
that, though, right? If you're not in the first flight, right? If you're not the very first event that's happening, by the time you get to your event, social media will be filled with every card, right? So if you're going to say, well, just ignore social media, you could do that already for Ixalan, right? Like you could go to Hour of Devastation having not read anything on Twitter or Goldfish or whatever if you really wanted the blind experience, right? So
and Seth, like if we were to attend, and maybe this is just coming from me again, let's just assume nothing's leaked, all that stuff. You go there, you paid $600. We don't know anything about the set. I mean, what if you really are legitimately opening like as your rare like Shivan Dragon and stuff like that? Like, I would be really upset.
well, most people will, right?
I mean, I just
Like think of Modern Masters 2017. Most of your packs were garbage, right? Like
Well,
this is
no,
what's gonna
I
happen,
mean-
right?
no. There was some stuff, but I mean, for $600 to get that experience, I would be really upset.
What if it's the opposite?
Like it's
What
one
if
thing to
you
pay
open
$40 for a
a
draft.
$500 card,
that's one thing?
thus negating the price of the convention.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we probably got to move on, but it will be interesting to see the price of those cards since the release is so far ahead of the actual release date of the set. If there's some like first time foils and stuff, it'll be interesting to see if there's a massive premium because the supply is going to be just from HASCON. That's going to be all that are in existence for like 2 or 3 months. So you might do better than you think financially because of that.
Sure.
All right, last topic. So as of right now, are you guys planning on going / want to go or no go?
I went from
I don't
wanting
know
to
if-
go to no go or unlikely to go.
Yeah, I went from wanting to unlikely. Now maybe there's some changes from now until then. Maybe, but it's definitely an unlikely right now.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat. And what really sealed it was the Commander 2017 leaks. Because I'm almost positive, like, you're paying for this exclusive first-time experience, and I just know it's going to be ruined somehow before we get there. So I'm a little jaded in that aspect, but constructive criticism. As of right now, I'm not convinced that the price is worth it. So HasCon needs to release more information, needs to hype it up, needs to say, here are the exclusive things we have, right? This booth, you can experience the new Star Wars game, or, we're going to have literally an Optimus Prime truck you can drive around, like stuff like that to hype you up, to make you actually want to go. So I think they need more selling, because if this is their marketing material, it's not enough. And maybe they will hype it more as we go along, and I think that's what they need to do to get people to actually show up.
Yep, that's where I'm at. Like, what are you actually getting? What is like the experience you're going to be receiving? Because we still need a lot more information on that. All right, last topic. So real quick before we get into fish mail, we wanted to touch on a lot of the modern events that were happening. There was an SCG Open. There was a few GPs. So what do you think about modern? Do you like? There was quite a bit of Amonkhet stuff in there, and I remember reading. I can't remember who wrote the article. It was on the mothership site. It highlighted 8 decks really that kind of benefited from and actually spawned their new archetypes with Amonkhet cards. So it was actually really awesome to see all these different decks and these results coming in. So, a lot to be excited for if you're a Modern player. Like, definitely have a lot of cool things going on.
I think Modern is awesome right now. I think Modern might be in the best place it's ever been in, and it's kind of funny because we've had so many bannings in Standard, and they arguably haven't done that great of a job of diversifying the format, but in Modern, the banning of Gitaxian Probe really put Modern into a super awesome place. I counted up all those events, and out of the top 8s, there were 17 different decks out of the 24 that top 8'd between the 3 tournaments, and the most popular deck was Grixis Death Shadow that had 4 copies of the 24. So it's super diverse. You can play essentially whatever you want. You can play big mana Tron decks. You can play Storm and Amulet Titan combo decks. You can play aggressive Death Shadow decks. You can play Dredge decks. You can play control decks. Literally anything you want to do, you can do in Modern, and it feels like old school Legacy in that way. Like, it's getting to that point where it feels like a super wide open format that rewards you for being really good with your deck and being experienced with the matchups and knowing how the format works. So I'm super happy with Modern right now. I don't really think it needs to change in any way, and I don't even know if it can get much better than it is right now, honestly.
Yeah, I wouldn't change a thing. Now, I know there's a lot of different archetypes that have been on the come up, and certainly we'll see things change. And we've had a lot of different discussions about Modern, and where its place is right now. Maybe this is just kind of what they wanted to happen, that it kind of evolves on its own. We get to a point like this, and then they kind of just kick back into gear and promote Modern again. I would personally like if they did that, because certainly the most interesting format right now, because it seems like they can't get Standard right. It'll probably take a little bit more time for that to happen. Legacy's obviously doing its thing, but yeah, I mean, it's exactly what you said, Seth. I mean, it even goes beyond that. I mean, it's like all different flavors of Collected Company. You have this Counters Company list now. Dredge is coming back. You have this Grixis. You have the Shadows lists, Tron decks. I mean, you have so many different things going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of decks in Modern. I think in terms of enjoyment of Modern, it's kind of the same in my opinion. You still get the feel bads of, well, I can't beat Dredge because they're doing something totally unfair. And then you sideboard for Dredge, and then you get stomped by Tron. Or you get ready for those two, and then Storm kills you. So it's like so diverse, which is good, but at the same time, you just have like auto losses. There's like no deck that can handle all of these decks at once. So it's in an interesting spot. What's really surprising is the resurgence of Storm. Does this mean that something from Storm is going to get banned? Or
probably
is it fair enough now because they lean so heavily on Brawl and Electromancer, you actually have some counterplay to them? You know, your removal is not dead. So do you think Storm will get another hit, or is Storm okay in the sense that Dredge is okay right now?
I mean, it's okay, but Wizards has shown that they don't really like Storm being a deck. So even though I don't think Storm is too overpowered, I could definitely imagine Wizards banning something just because it feels like they want to stomp Storm mechanic out of existence in Modern. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did it just on principle.
Just
basically.
Stop beating around the bush and get rid of Grape
Right there
Shot
with
and
you.
empty the warrens. It's like forget these rituals and cantrips and stuff. Just get rid of the actual Storm finishers.
I think it would take them a while because there's other decks that are also, it's not overpowering any kind of deck and not kind of just taking over the format. But if it does get to that point and then you have all this other diversity, I think it would just be an obvious choice.
All right, shall we move on to fish mail?
Yeah, let's answer some fish mail. These are really, really
All
fun.
right, if you have questions, send them to @MTGGoldfish with the hashtag MTGFishmail, and we'll get to your questions on air. First question from 10K Freeman, looking to get a set of Fatal Pushes as original set foils. Considering the promo, when do I buy?
I do think the promo will affect the pack foils in some sense. If anything, it will stop them from increasing to absurd amounts. I personally like the foil, but yeah, I would probably wait till those are in circulation and it kind of lets the pack foils cool off a bit.
Yeah, I agree. I think I would wait until, what is it, September when we get the Fatal Pushes out?
Yes, September.
All right, next question from Ranon Dark Rider. What do you think of Mystic Speculation as Tier 1 card filtering in Modern? So,
I think turn 1.
what?
Turn 1, I think, is what it's trying to say.
Oh, turn 1 card filtering? Sorry.
Yeah.
So the card is blue, is this blue, sorcery, buyback to scry 3.
It's so bad.
Interesting.
Not playable.
You're just,
Yeah, I don't
you're
think
just
it's playable.
Because you're not
throwing
gonna
away a
the
card.
turn you want to play it is like the early turns where you're not using your mana efficiently in the early turns, so you're never gonna buy it back. You're just gonna literally pay 1 to scry 3. Would you not just cast Serum Visions and draw a card in scry 2, which is
Yeah.
better?
It's just worse than Serum Visions.
Is it? Did you say instant or sorcery?
Sorcery.
It's a
Oh,
sorcery.
Yeah. So you can't even do any like counterbalance shenanigans. So yep. No, don't do it.
I guess
Sorry,
if you
Serum
play
Visions.
Delver or
Wow.
something, like where setting up the top of your deck is really important and you need Serum Visions 4 to 8, but seems bad. It costs you a whole card.
I kind of feel like this. I mean, this has been in the Modern pool for quite some time. If it hasn't seen a use by now,
Well, how long until
Well, I mean, if
Serum
you
Visions
wanna-
gets banned? And this is this is the card.
no.
Because you're like Serum
Serum
Visions is
Vision's not
garbage.
going
Look at
anywhere.
Preordain. But then Preordain, look at Ponder. They got the axe, right? So how long until Storm is too strong? Serum Visions must be banned.
The other thing
If
is
anything, they'll just ban Storm cards.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
I mean-
But I mean, I can see a world where Serum
Yeah.
Visions goes and blue is actually that far down.
That would be a
and Mystic
weird
Speculation is the
day.
next card. But
For someone that's played the game for quite some time, that would be really
but
weird.
currently, I think Serum
other
Visions is just 100% better.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is there's like Index is 1 mana rearrange the top 5. There's some weird 1 mana wizard creature that's a 1/1 that also lets you rearrange the top 5. So I think even if you got to the point where you wanted that effect, I think there's better options.
All right.
Yep.
Next question from Fazitron. So even after Probe gets banned, Storm is back on top. Is it safe to buy into, or should we fear yet another ban?
Well, he just talked about this. I
Yes.
would still be nervous, not because it's too good, but because Wizards has proved that they don't like Storm being a tier 1 deck.
I think it's okay. I think it's okay because it's creature based now and it's slower. I think the problem with the original Storm is you really couldn't do anything but counterspell it, but now you can theoretically kill Brawl and kill them before they kill you because they don't have the mana reduction. So I'm gonna lean on it's okay, but like Seth said, Wizards just loves banning Storm decks.
I don't even think we should be considering a ban. I mean, it's not at the point that it's like critical that it needs
But the
one.
last time it was banned, it didn't need anything, right? Like they kind of
they
just like
tack
hammered
it
into the
on.
ground, right?
Yeah, Wizards loves doing that. Like, no one plays
Yeah,
Storm, and there'll
that's
be a
true.
random announcement. It's like, another ritual's banned. Why not?
Finkel's like, no,
Yeah.
why?
Fair enough.
Next question, Mr. Liebau. What do you think the odds of Marble getting banned are if Bolus Planeswalker is in Hour of Devastation?
All this banning talk.
The original,
wow.
the original Bolus Planeswalker.
First off, there's 0% chance that they're gonna. The Bolus we've been waiting for is a reprint. I think there's no way it's not gonna be
No,
a
it's-
new
it's-
Bolus.
It's not a reprint. It's not going to
Wait,
be.
what did Nicol Bolas even do?
But the original
Destroy
was
non-creature
like
permanent.
gain control of a creature. They did like its ultimate was what actually Nicole Bolas did on the card, something
Yeah.
like that. And then I forget the plus.
So plus 3 is destroy
Plus 3 was, like,
target non-creature
destroy a
permanent.
creature.
Minus 2 is gain control
Oh,
of target
nice.
creature. Minus 9 is deal 7 damage. That player discards 7 cards and sacrifices 7 permanents.
I actually,
Yeah, it's
let's suspend the fact that there's no way it's going to be a reprint. I actually don't think
Okay.
that's a better hit than Chandra off Marvel, and definitely not better than Ulamog.
I think no, but if they just print a Bolus
original.
Walker, it will probably be really, really good. What does this mean for Marvel?
yeah. The problem is at any card that's past 5 mana that's really good is insane with Marvel.
That's the problem, right? And I doubt they're gonna make Bolus a terrible card. So this
it's not going to be a
leads me to
terrible
believe
card.
Marvel will get banned. No.
But even if it was a terrible card, what happens the next set when there's not a terrible card? I mean, Marvel is in standard for quite some time still.
I'm hoping
it's always going to be a perpetual problem.
Or they could just like put Pithing Needle in the set or something.
Yeah,
I'm hoping they put an answer to it rather than having to keep banning stuff. But I mean, it's not impossible. It's just in the format for so long, and I think people are already getting sick of it. And if Ulamog rotates and it becomes a tier 3 deck, that's fine. But if it's still a tier 1 deck come fall, I can't imagine that people are going to be okay with that.
What if Nicol Bolas is +3 exile 3 permanents? -3 mill 20 cards from the top.
I'm feeling the 6 mana 4 abilities, Walker.
Really?
I think it's going to be 2 mana. That's going to be Tibalt 2.0.
No.
Oh.
I'm feeling 6 mana 4 abilities.
I think he's going to be like 10 mana. I think he's going to be even bigger and flashier than ever.
3 in Grixis, 4 abilities. That's what I'm feeling.
And then everyone's going to call him Jace the Mind Sculptor?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, think about it. We have 7 4 abilities. We have 4 4 abilities. We need somewhere in between. It can't be 5, although I guess it could be, but needs the Grixis colors, so 6.
What if he has... Is this time for Brainstorm on a Planeswalker? I can see this happening. At 6+ Planeswalker, because Nicol Bolas can only do so many things, and they've kind of used the game control destroy creature thing. So what's left, right? And I think some kind of blue card draw.
They probably use that middle of the week Wednesday emergency ban when they release Nicol Bolas, and the subtext is like, and Marvel is banned.
4 ability Planeswalker. One of them is a 0, and we're gonna introduce a new generation to Brainstorm. Here we go.
Yeah. Here we go.
Next question from Hindi Hammer. With 1v1 Commander being popular on Magic Online, what are the chances of it taking off in paper? Should I invest in a Brawl deck?
Yeah, it's wildly more popular than I even imagined on MTGO. It was already kind of popular, not really here, but it was already popular enough. The problem is, like, you're not operating with the same set of rules, so it's, like, kind of weird, because I like the format, I want people to invest in it, it is fun, but at the same time, it's like, I don't even think, like, if you're going for Baral, I don't even know where Baral ends up when we're not even playing with the even playing field here. I mean, we don't even have the same ban list. I don't know if they're going to keep it even at 30. Maybe they switch it. I don't know. So it's weird.
I just recorded Brawl Polymorph videos for Much Brew this coming weekend, and
okay, nice.
There's no way that deck doesn't get banned. Like, Emrakul, something from that deck is going to get banned. I'm surprised it hasn't already. So even if things line up, I just can't imagine. And once they ban Emrakul, for example, the deck just dies. Like, you can't even play it anymore. So I think that it's a risky investment because I can't imagine Wizards not banning it. I'm surprised it wasn't banned last go around.
Yeah.
And see, that was the interesting thing to me. They banned 3 more cards that were on the original ban list for 1v1, but they didn't do anything else. Like, why not even include the commanders that were already banned? Like, I just don't understand. I would at the very least, like to evaluate what's going on when we have the full ban list, and you didn't run into these problems when the French committee switched the starting life total to 20. Like, Baral was still okay, but you can really combat Baral with other aggressive decks. Now it just seems like it's at 30 Brawls everywhere, but we're not even with the same ban list, so I don't know. It's very weird to evaluate.
Yeah, and I feel like the popularity of 1v1 Moto Commander is quickly falling off, because before the bannings, there were about 300 people in the leagues. Post-banning, when I played late last week, there was like sub 100. And I don't know what to make of that. I don't know if that's people, they haven't had a chance to rejoin the league since the downtime, or they were kind of like me and like, why is Baral not banned? Like, what is going on, right? Like,
yeah, or Taziger, which has been banned for a while.
So I think they're taking a step in the right direction, but I don't know. I wouldn't risk it for paper right now, especially since this is kind of the boogeyman of the format where everyone is basically saying this is too powerful. Something is probably going to get banned, and that something will probably kill the deck. Either Baral will get banned or Emrakul will get banned, and the good news is still a pile of good blue cards, which is probably good enough to play 1v1 Commander.
Yeah.
But your deck will probably be banned, I think.
I mean, at the very least, you buy into it, you lose Baral if they banned Baral. I would suspect they banned Baral, but you lose some polymorph cards, which is not a huge deal. But it's like Richard said, a lot of those cards transfer over pretty well to another blue-based deck like Jace Vryn's Prodigy or something like that. So it's not complete waste.
All right, next question from Wurzatroll42. Any chances of Crucible of Worlds reprint in Hour of Devastation with Cycle Lands and the whole Underworld thing going on in Amonkhet?
I doubt it.
I think it's possible. Crucible doesn't seem like a card to me that's just on its face too powerful for Standard. Whether it actually happens, I don't know, but I don't think it's just like blatantly too powerful in a world without strip mines and wastelands and anything like that.
Have they reprinted a player-created card since they were in
Crucible is a
Crucible
player-created
was in
card?
10th.
Yes.
What player-created? Like, it's not invitational, right?
No, it was a player-created card. Like, the players created the card much like they did, like, that Cold Snap card and Forgotten Ancient.
Oh,
and stuff
Waste
like that.
Not? Like...
Yeah, like the you make the card.
Yeah,
okay,
Waste Not.
okay.
You make
Thing.
the card. Yeah, it was a community-created card, yeah.
I mean, Crucible was in 10th edition, right? It was in Mirrodin and then 10th edition, so I think...
What? Was it?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Crucible
there's
was
two,
in 5th Dawn.
and then 10th edition. Corset.
No.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, there's two printings. So I don't think it's outside
yeah,
the
you're
realms
right.
of possibility.
Yeah, but that was a core set.
Yeah.
Do you think they would print it in a
Well,
normal
there's no core
set like
sets
this?
anymore, so... so
Yeah, so maybe, I guess, right. Yeah.
They might. It's not terribly broken in Standard. So if they want to slot a reprint in, they can play with Crucible, and it is kind of on flavor, and it mechanically makes sense with the cycle lands. So I can see it happening.
Yeah, you're right. 10th. Wow. I totally forgot about that.
All right, next question. Ancient Scrape. What do you guys think of X-Mage as a free alternative to Magic Online?
All of those are, I guess, good choices, like X-Mage, Cockatrice, I mean, as a alternative, but it's really, you really lose a lot of the kind of the platform controlling the play, like the actual play mechanics for you. Like Cockatrice, you really have to, you and your opponent have to pretty much do everything, and obviously you run into issues. Or MTGO, while you still run into issues, it kind of helps you along with the stack and your turns and what have you.
Yeah, I dislike these because the players that play on them are not as invested in Magic. And what that basically means is they don't know the rules. They will quit randomly in the middle of a game. You know, like when you play another Magic player at F&M or on Magic Online, they kind of spent like, you know, a couple $100 on their deck. They actually spent time to learn the rules and stuff. So like a lot of the horror stories I see from X-Mage are like people don't understand how the rules work, or they just rage quit. You know, you play turn 1 Goblin Guide and they just quit, right? Where, you know, stuff like that doesn't happen as much on Magic Online and stuff. And plus you don't support wizards, right? That's another thing. These programs are in the shady gray area, and I don't know. I feel it's just not as fun playing on these platforms.
Now, I mean, they do have their place. I mean, it is okay for me to, if you like are investing in a very, you know, pretty expensive commander deck before you go out and play, and you don't really want to invest it again on MTGO. Like there are certain ways it's beneficial.
Yeah, when you know the other person. So like when you play on Skype, if you and your buddy you want to hop on, then it actually works fine. because you guys know each other. You're not gonna do anything weird. But playing with strangers, I think, is a more downside. But if you play with your friends, then it works perfectly fine. Next question from PsychoSmurf96. Have you guys ever thought of hosting a community tournament for Magic Online with unique/jank restrictions and stream it?
Oh, that would be cool.
We've actually sort of talked about it, but we've never really got to the further stages of it to actually figure out what it would look like. But I think it's something that could maybe happen at some point if we figure it out.
I wish Magic Online would let you just run tournaments.
Yeah,
that would be so cool. Easy.
And it's just free money. You somehow put in 500 ticks, it pays out 400 ticks, Wizards takes 100 ticks or whatever, right? They could take a 25% cut. And then, it actually seeds people correctly. You can run a Swiss tournament or whatever to cut the top 8. So hopefully they're thinking about that for the next Magic platform. They're probably not, but that would be very sweet. You can run Star City Games Open Series on Magic Online. You could do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right? Now it's just go to this website and set up a bracket and hope the players report correctly, and it's just a big mess.
Yeah.
Next question from V Thorsby. Will Tigum be a legacy staple? This is the Commander 2017 Tigum, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Tigum scheming, I think. No.
Hey, we laughed at Tigum scheming.
That's a no.
Tier 1 standard deck. Yeah,
Yes.
I don't think Tigum's strong enough. Veracruz 20. How many points of direct damage would it take for mono red burn to make it in standard? 35-ish? So I actually asked this commenter what they meant, and I still didn't understand what they meant. So I'm just going to rephrase this as, what does it take to make mono red burn good in standard? What do we need? Do we just need a lightning bolt? Do we need...
I think what they were trying to ask is, does standard need more direct damage spells? Do we need the exquisite firecrafts and the stoke the flames type cards again? And we absolutely do.
How much? What do we need? Are we a stoke the flames away from making this work? Do we need stoke the flames and lightning strike?
Alright, I just played mono red, and I had to play Built to Smash as my third burn spell. We have Shock, which isn't great. We have Incendiary Flow, which, those cards are passable. You can play them in a burn deck, and they're not horrible by standards, whatever, measurements. But I think you need 2 more good burn spells. They don't have to be Lightning Bolt, but I think you need 2 more, Lightning Strike level, or even Incendiary Flow level effects to really make the strategy viable.
I think we need a exquisite firecraft type card, or a Char. Char would be awesome, and give us lightning, just straight up lightning strike.
All right, so a 2 mana 3 damage spell, and then some kind of 4 damage spell at 3+ mana.
Yeah.
Yep, I think that's what we're kind of lacking.
Yeah, we're definitely lacking.
I say we need Price of Progress, baby. 2 damage, 2 mana, deal 7 damage to your face.
Oh my goodness, that would be really awesome
Price of Progress would be an interesting card. And I think they should put it in standard to reward people for playing 1 or 2 colors. Because if you're not going to print land destruction, basically Wasteland is one of the punishing cards for playing multiple colors in Legacy. They don't want to do that for standard, so give us a Price of Progress. Or maybe a 3 mana Price of Progress, or even a 4 mana.
Yep.
Do we have a 4 mana Price of Progress? We might.
Do we?
I thought they printed a Price of Progress type card recently. Maybe that was in Commander.
I think is it Ruination? No.
But instant speed.
Is it?
I want to see instant speed, Price of Progress, and standard to punish greedy mana bases and make burn legitimate.
Yeah, and again, this all wraps it back to, these are the types of archetypes and these are the type of cards that can leave certain archetypes like Marvel, where you spin, you got the Ulamog, that's great, you may still win, but you're still in kind of burn range. I'm still able to take you out on turn 4 because I have that extra bit of reach with my exquisite firecraft or Char or what have you.
I want to see a next level play where you spin the wheel, hit Ulamog, and exile 2 of your lands to not die to Price of Progress. I want to see that happen. And then that's when we know we have a fearsome burn deck in the format.
Yes.
Or Marvel Burn. You can just Marvel into your Price of Progress.
Oh.
Next question. Xenofan2. Black has no artifact answers, but is selfish. So artifact theft, gain control of target artifact.
That's blue, I think, to me.
Yeah.
I think that it's...
Yeah, I
Control
think it's
magic type
fine
stuff
that
is
Black has
blue.
no artifact answers.
Yeah,
That's
what I was
kind of
gonna say,
its
too.
its shtick.
Yeah. It hasn't for a long time. I mean,
The most
you think
black,
back, like maybe like a couple
the most
cards.
black artifact answer is like a Thoughtseize or a
Yeah.
surgical extraction type.
Hey, now you got Gator Phyrexia. You have
I remember that
some
card.
stuff to work with.
I mean, could go on a long rant, but that's what makes Magic great, is, like, colors have benefits and downsides.
Except if you're
like,
green.
I think. Yeah.
Except
You have card
artifacts.
draw,
Then you get it all.
selection, tutoring, big beefy creatures.
Hey, that all sounds awesome.
Next question. At Toolbar, will we ever see Wizards nerfing cards instead of banning them?
No.
I think
if
they can't do it with
eventually
physical
it
cards.
is-
Unless it's like clearly like a typo or
can't do
something,
it.
they're not going to errata physical cards.
Yeah, not until Magic is a online game only. If that ever happens, then yes, but otherwise, no.
All right. Next question. V. Thorsby. Akiba Chiba Grand Prix Kobe. Top 8 with Esper control with 4 Glory Bound Initiates. Thoughts? Did you guys see this?
I did notice
4
that.
Glory
That
Bound
card is-
Initiates, 4
Yeah.
Painful Truths, Batterskull,
Yeah.
and then a
I
lot of
saw-
counter magic for what looks like a tap out control
Yup.
deck.
I mean, the person top 8'd, so I can't be too critical, but to me that seems really bad. You're just turning on all your opponent's fatal pushes and all their path exiles and cards that would normally... Like, that's the upside of playing a control deck, is you, like, blank all these cards in your opponent's hand. So it seems like an odd choice to me, but it obviously worked for a Kyo, so I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, I think the 4 Painful
I'm with
Truths
it.
is the secret sauce there. Like, I think the Glory Bound Initiate
Yeah.
somehow, like, counteracts the Painful Truths. But like you said, it's just so weird. Like, you tap out, but you have all these counter spells in hand, and you turn on all the removal, and it just seems not cohesive, but they somehow got top 8, and I'm very curious. And I want to see how it works in action.
We've seen these lists play like a singleton Baneslayer Angel every now and then. I mean, this just is like a 2-mana Baneslayer. I mean, you just get in there for 4, you lifelink, obviously, and your Painful Truths are
Yeah,
free.
I think you don't play it as a 2-drop. I think you wait as a 6-drop, play it
so
and
you can
protect
protect
it,
it.
and then gain 4 life, Painful Truths, and then kind of take over from there. But
Yeah, you're good to go.
still seems a little weird. Soulfire Grandmaster would be a card you would think would be played if you wanted to do this, but apparently not.
Yeah.
Last question from Mean Pork. Please resolve an argument. What percentage of total Magic players understand how the stack works?
Oh man, 10?
But where are we drawing the line of like knows how it works? Like order of spell
well, I mean,
resolution,
yeah.
I think most people would know.
We'll
I
just
think,
say
yeah.
fully understand.
Well, no one fully understands
Fully
anything.
understand is super small.
Well, yeah, see, this question, like, just understands it at all.
But if it's like understands, like,
You think
You
it's like
can-
I cast
you're-
I cast Thraben Inspector or something, and then you untap your land, and then the other guy's like I counterspell, and then he's like, oh sorry, you're too late, you missed the opportunity, like that kind of interaction. Or are you talking about
I think
I Venser your spell, and then I Cryptic, and there's a Rest in Peace, and like where I Snapcaster, where are these cards at the right time, like kind of that interaction.
I think most people have the elementary understanding enough to play the game. I haven't run into too many people that just don't understand how to like counter a spell, for example, or something
Well, you
like
play
that.
Magic
And
Online,
that's like
though.
a basic
you cannot
understanding.
do it correctly, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I think like when it comes to, I don't know, tricky stuff where you're like maintaining priority to like copy your own spells and stuff
Yeah.
like that, I think is where a lot less people really understand it.
All right, so
fully.
let's assume the question is like basics of the stack. How many?
Then like 75.
75%.
Yeah, I would say like basically 100%
Basic
of anyone
understanding.
who goes to F&M or like reads reads Reddit or goes on Goldfish, and it's probably the kitchen table players that may not know how the stack works because they don't go play outside their group, so no one's there to tell them, hey, the stack doesn't work. And I don't know what percentage
Yeah.
of players that is. But I know as a kid,
Maybe I
when I
pushed
was a
that
kid, we read the rule book and we just played Magic, and it was not correct Magic, right? So I'm
No,
sure
it was
some
definitely
actual
not correct
1%.
Magic after that.
I would say like 50% of casual players, like the people that just buy like a pre-con at Walmart and like that's it. Like they don't read guides, they don't go to F&M.
They don't even have guides in any of that stuff anymore, do they?
That's true. It's very, very slim down. They have like a one-page insert of how to play, and I don't know if they talk about the stack in there.
I'll leave it at like a 70-30 as like a basic understanding.
All right. 70-30, that's the final answer. So that's all of our fish mail for this week. Thank you everyone for sending it in.
Yeah, that was some great fish mail. Yeah, we are running late, but yeah, that was all awesome. Anything really crazy out the door? We're already pretty long here. All right, we'll leave it at that. Thank you everyone for sending those in. Awesome discussion, gentlemen. We will do this again next week. Looking forward to it. And this is going to be the MTG Goldfish Cruise signing out. We will see you all next time.